Yo, what up guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be reacting to how I started a $110 million business at age 30. Woof. Alright, let's get into it.
Which is a major achievement for anyone. But imagine that within a year of graduating, you received $500,000 in funding for an idea you came up with in class. Seriously. That's what happened to 30-year-old Josh Aviv, founder of SparkCharge. And his idea is a simple one.
A professor came into class one day, said, if you want to solve a huge problem for the world, solve the problem of infrastructure for electric vehicles. And he said, if you're interested, meet with me after class. And I was the only person to show up.
Josh and his economics professor had their discussion in 2014. And 8 years later, lack of EV charging infrastructure is still one of the biggest concerns among potential EV buyers. According to Autolist.com's annual electric vehicle survey, range anxiety and lack of charging stations are among consumers' top worries.
If you wanted to really open the door to have freedom with the electric vehicle, be able to drive the electric vehicle virtually anywhere, you needed a charging system that could match that experience.
SparkCharge provides on-demand charging for electric vehicles.
You can select the time, the place, choose your vehicle, how much range you want, and with the push of a button, it gets brought to you. So the same way that you would order food from Uber Eats or Grubhub is the same way that you can now have energy brought to your vehicle.
There's 3 numbers to look out for in Josh's story. $4,500, the amount of prize money won in his first pitch competition.
Okay.
$500,000, the funding he received from his first investor. And $1 million, the number of miles that SparkCharge has delivered to its customers. Here's how Josh Aviv took a college idea and turned it into a $110 million company.
That's interesting, but I feel like one of the challenges you have with businesses like this, I don't know how sustainable they are over the long run, because let's say you drive a Tesla, you have those superchargers which are free of charge. I can understand for convenience wanting these guys, but I don't know. In the long run, I don't see how sustainable it is.
For CNBC Make It, I'm Zach Green. This is Founder Effect. Growing up in Dallas, Texas, Josh says that business was always something in the back of his mind, possibly stemming from his family background.
My grandfather was an entrepreneur. He ran his own shipping and logistics company. And at the time, I really didn't know what an entrepreneur was, right? Or what an entrepreneur did. I didn't even think of him as an entrepreneur. I just thought, that's his job. It wasn't really until I started my own business that I realized that I'd grown up around an entrepreneur, practically in my early childhood.
Josh attended Syracuse University in New York, where he majored in economics.
When I arrived on Syracuse, I did not think I was going to start a business. The class was environmental economics. The professor was Professor Peter Wilcoxon, and we started talking about the electric vehicle market and the problems that we were having with infrastructure now, that we are now starting to see magnified 10 times today, right? From those conversations, went and started SparkCharge. To
raise initial capital for a startup, Josh entered Syracuse University's Raymond Von Dran iPrize pitch competition in 2017, where he won $4,500. Josh says he was able to raise about $150,000 in total from other competitions. That same year, he officially incorporated his new company.
This is the one thing that you need when starting a business. It's a lot of capital, because at the beginning it's an idea, but it costs a lot to develop an idea into a business. So I'm really glad that he did this and he won a lot of money. Like $150,000 is very great, like, for a business that doesn't exist. But either way, I'm pretty sure he incurred a lot of costs just to get up to that, because you have to pay your rent, but you also have to invest a lot of time into just research and trying to make it off the ground. So I'm really proud that he got money early enough.
Got our value proposition through kind of clear just from hearing the name, right? So spark meaning electricity, but also meaning quick, also meaning, in a hurry. Charge, because that's what we do, we charge vehicles.
But in order to charge vehicles, Josh would have to come up with a device to do it. That product would eventually become the Roadie.
When we think about the Roadie, it's comprised of 2 parts, right? It's comprised of a charger and a modular battery, right? The charger handles the power, plugs into the car, sends the energy in, and then the batteries are the energy storage that send the energy into the charger that goes into the vehicle. And so, our system is modular, so you can connect the modular battery blocks together, kind of like Lego blocks, to increase the amount of range that goes into the vehicle. We had some very early prototypes that were super simple, but nowhere near what we have now, right? We really had to go build out our engineering team.
To fund the development of the Roadie, Josh found Boston-based VC firm Point Judith Capital in 2018.
We were introduced to Point Judith Capital after attending a clean tech conference in New York City. I think the initial round was about $500,000.
Josh was able to secure an additional $1 million in funding in 2020 from Mark Cuban and Lori Grenier when he appeared on a little show called Shark Tank.
Do we have a deal?
We got a deal.
We have a deal.
Let's charge this up.
I think some good advice that we've received from Mark would just be manage your cash flow, right? I think startups, come and go, right, based off of how well they're able to manage their cash flow. I think another big one is make sure you pick the right team, right? So make sure that you invest in your team and invest in your culture.
Yeah, that's essentially it. Like I said in one of my videos, for me, when it comes to running my business, it's all about cash flow. Like I don't really care about, fine, I care about profits, but I care about knowing I can pay my bills and knowing that I have no issues. But the one challenge that, which I feel for him is not really challenging, is he has the cash. So once you have like 1.5 million, then you're really able to build your team and create a product that then creates that money, and you have the runoff to do it. A lot of times you find with businesses, we have to go into debt to be able to do our R&D, and by the time you start making any cash, you're paying off the debt before your business can actually grow.
As his funding grew, Josh was able to grow his business and improve the tech behind the Roadie.
Initial prototype was able to deliver 3 to 5 miles off its battery pack, and now we have the Roadie V3 and the Roadie V3 Hybrid. Those are now able to output up to 200 miles at a given time, 200, 250 miles each. The Roadie V3 can do about 15 miles every 60 seconds.
As of this year, SparkCharge has raised over $30 million, which has helped raise the company's value.
After our most recent funding, it's valued, somewhere around 100
million.
And while the company has not made its revenue public, Josh says they're on track to bring in $10 million this year. The company's main source of income is through their Currently app, where users can have a charge delivered to them by putting in their car's location and the amount of charge needed.
I remember the first time that we actually showed up to deliver a charge from someone who found the app, right, and downloaded it and called for a charge, and literally seeing the light bulb on their face, like that aha moment of, oh wait, like this can actually be brought to me. That was, a really big aha moment where I was like, wow, we're actually onto something special.
Currently, subscribers pay between $5 and $30 a month for the service, and between 51 and 69 cents per kilowatt hour. That's about the same cost as filling up a 16-gallon tank once.
We save EV owners and our fleet partners a ton of money, right? If you think about it, to tow an electric vehicle...
Well, I can see that, but let's see something. So if you're paying, what, $5 a month, 15, 30, 5, 15, 30, and then you're paying per kilowatt. I feel like, I don't really know the cost in America of these things, but like I said, with the Tesla Supercharger, which is essentially free, I like the business. I think it's a nice to have, but my problem with a lot of these tech businesses is they're nice to have. They're not necessities, and with the world facing a recession, like, I really fear for businesses like this, because their revenue, like, it's great to have this. Like, if you have 100,000 people paying you $14 a month for 12 months, that's like a lot of cash flow, which is good on paper, but like in reality, this, I don't know, like we'll have to wait and see where the business goes. And I'm guessing if they're doing videos like this, it helps get brand awareness and stuff like that. But if I'm driving an electric vehicle, for me personally, my goal is to pay nothing. Like, I don't want to pay, like, like, my goal is just to make sure I cut out any gas costs. Especially, that's why I speak of a Tesla, because my friend owns a Tesla, so I know that she doesn't pay for this, but that'll be fascinating.
We save EV owners and our fleet partners a ton of money.
But a convenience is if you run out of power in the middle of nowhere, then you can call these people.
Think about it. To tow an electric vehicle, you need to bring a flatbed tow truck, right? You then need to tow the vehicle to a charging station, jump the 12 volt, plug it in, and then sit and wait. With mobile charging, we're actually able to remove, 90% of that. We can show up, jump the 12 volt, charge it at the same time, and the vehicle can be on its way back into service or along its journey.
SparkCharge offers currently in 121 cities, like LA, San Francisco, and Dallas, Texas. It's planning on expanding to San Diego, Phoenix, and New York City in the coming year. Josh says they've already surpassed their goal of providing 10,000 miles of range to their customers.
I think we're on track this year to deliver over 1 million miles of range to EV owners and to our fleet partners. Our expansion plans are really focused on where do electric vehicle owners need range, where is the infrastructure really not built up.
Earlier this year, SparkCharge also partnered with Kia Motors to provide new Kia EV buyers with 2 months of complimentary currently service in LA, San Francisco, and San Jose, California.
A lot of the big players, it really enables them to A, sell more vehicles and offer a more convenient charging experience that traditional charging stations just can't offer. The convenience, the accessibility, the ease of use. It means now that they don't have to worry about, lack of infrastructure. They don't have to worry about trying to, educate the customer too much on, okay, well, you can charge here, but you can't charge here, right? It opens up the door to a seamless EV charging network that their customers can tap into.
In addition,
I don't know if they'll tell us like what the problems they're facing, because I just feel like for me right now the biggest challenge will be getting people to know about the business, which is why they're doing shows like this, but also like how many people actually need this, because one thing I know in America, a lot of people are house owners and they charge their cars at home. But if they're talking about making in excess of 10 million in revenue, it just shows you how beautiful the American market is.
Charging. SparkCharge sells the roadie to companies with electric fleets, saving them the cost of having to build fixed charging stations at their facilities. SparkCharge has also developed its own fixed charging station, the Roadie V3 Hybrid, which runs wirelessly.
So instead of taking 12 to 24 months to put a single charging station fixed in the ground, we can actually install the Roadie V3 Hybrid in under an hour. And so that means that your deployment time goes down, your cost goes down, and your infrastructure goes up. And that means that you can now service more vehicles in a more cost-effective and a more seamless way.
Under President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law, the U.S. is providing states with $1 billion over the next 4 years to build more EV infrastructure, including charging stations. Josh believes SparkCharge and mobile charging will play a vital role in the emerging EV marketplace.
As we see more infrastructure built throughout the country, that's going to be probably a 15, 20, 25-year, roadmap. The benefit of mobile charging that we have, right, is that we can actually grow and scale faster than those deployments of stationary chargers. We can be up and running in a city in under 14 days. We can blanket that entire city with energy. And so for us, we really don't see the infrastructure growth as competition. We believe that success is focused on the ease of use of mobile charging. And any time that you look at whether a business has been successful or whether it's been able to scale, so long as that business can create a more accessible, more sustainable, more seamless, more scalable product, typically that is the option that is chosen. And so for us, the more cities we enter, the more partners we're able to work with, the more electric vehicles will be able to grow in those markets. And so that's something that we're extremely excited about.
Yeah, well, good luck to them. Like, I just feel, like I say, it's a nice to have product. I don't have an electric vehicle, so I don't really have these problems. But I've seen, like, in my city, they have these companies where they come in and help you out with gas. So if you need gas, it's like you just, I don't know, if you download an app or call somebody, then they come and they refuel your car for you. So I know that those type of businesses, and I don't really know how much they scale and how sustainable they are. Because once again, like I said, if I'm buying an electric vehicle, my goal is just to cut my costs at all costs. So I don't know if I want to be paying $5 a month to do this. But regardless, if you own like another EV where you're already paying for gas, which is not a Tesla, then yeah, whatever is cost beneficial to you, do that. But on the long run, like, I just don't know how sustainable this business is. I mean, yeah, it might take 25 years before we have the infrastructure to whereby people don't need it, but good luck to them and they make money. But also, like, for them being able to create the infrastructure, I think that's a smart business move, because that is an area where they can make money. Like, if you have a house, then they just come and install their charger at your house, and then on your house, or if you like run an apartment building, and then you can do that as well. So they have opportunity. It's just the one whereby they come and charge your car, where I'm like, I don't really know how far you can push that, but hey, the man has $110 million valuation business, so who am I? Let me know in the comment section what you think of his business. I'm super proud of the dude. Like, this is awesome work, man. Like, it's just nice to see. It's nice to see something when somebody succeeds. With that said, subscribe to the channel. I'll definitely be seeing you guys in the next one.